Before we get into the video, if you're looking for top quality sample packs, preset packs and templates for your music production, they're entirely royalty free. You can use them in your own productions and learn from them. If you're interested, check out the link in the description and enjoy the video. What's good people, it's Lewis of bbrights and I am back with a brand new video. It's finally here, the new series from start to finish. It's been a week or so since I uploaded the FLP from my Sabres from start to finish. So I did a poll on my YouTube community page a couple of days ago where I listed 10 artists, everyone voted, and then I would take the top 5 voted artists out of the 10 and create one final poll. And the winner from that poll seemed to be W&W. Everyone seemed to want to see a W&W tutorial. Martin Garrix was winning and then W&W just took over. So that's what I'm bringing to you today, from start to finish, W&W. So without wasting any time, we're going to get straight into it. For episode 1, we're making the big room kick. Just to point out, I'm basing this W&W from start to finish track off 3 of their tracks. One of them being Rave Culture, the other one being Rave After Rave, and the third one being Put 'Em Up. Obviously they're quite in a similar key and style, so I'm going to be implementing elements and styles from all 3 songs into one. So that's what we're going to be basing it off. But yeah, we're going to get started on the big room kick, and that's going to be part 1, so let's get straight into it. So just some information that's not really relevant but it also helps with the track. Out of the 3 W&W songs we're basing this off, 2 of them are in F minor, that is Rave Culture and Put 'Em Up, and then Rave After Rave is an F sharp minor. Depending on what key I'm feeling, we're going to be either basing it in F minor or F sharp minor. We'll get to that. We'll usually decide that when we make the big room kick. But for the big room kick, we're going to have around 3 to 4 layers. We're going to have a punch layer as usual, a sub layer, maybe 1 or 2 tonal layers, which gives the more upper harmonics and the grittiness and the more aggressiveness to the kick. So depending on what we get is when we'll decide how many layers we'll choose. It'll probably be around 3 and then 4 if you want extra crunch and extra aggressiveness to the kick. I was scrolling through my kicks in my big room kicks folder here, and I found I could either use this one here, if I couldn't find it, that one there. So I'm probably going to cut the sub and just use the sub frequencies out of this one, because I'm pretty sure this is from one of WW's tracks. I'm not entirely sure. And then we're going to use one of these. We could use that one for a tonal layer. Use that one for a tonal layer. Yeah, but for now we have the sub layer here, which is this labeled in G. And this one's an F, so we've got to change the keys accordingly. We're going to move the BPM down to 128, stretch that to 1 beat. This is already in 128. And all we've got to do now is find a punch layer. The one I'm going to be using just for now. We might change it in a later episode. It's from the Hydrogen EDM3 kicks, and it's called Kick Salvation. I've used it a lot recently. Very good kick. But we're going to work on the sub kick at the moment. This one here. Obviously this is in G. So for now we're going to pitch it down to F sharp minor. Half a cent, meaning this is half of 1 semitone. So now it's an F sharp. Obviously we need to, you can hear some like reverb, tail and synths because it's been cut out of a song. I'm not entirely sure where I got this. It must have been from a FLP or a sample pack I downloaded and I found this in there. I'm not entirely sure, but we're going to add this in. We'll make it a nice pink, why not? Add this into the mixer. Let's close the browser for now. Add it in, insert 2. We're going to take the high frequencies out because we're just using this layer for the sub. Also turn it down, it's going to be very loud. And then we can add a G tune and find out what key it's in. So it is saying F sharp. We could pitch it down 1 more to F. But for now we'll keep it in F sharp. And then depending on how we feel and how the track progresses, we'll decide then if it's going to be an F minor or F sharp minor. So that is the sub layer. Bearing in mind we need to put an LFO tool or a sidechain on it to get rid of the first beat here, because obviously we're going to use the punch for that. This already has a punch. We don't need that there, we only need the sub tail. So, but for now we'll leave that there. And then this is the other kick. We're going to rename this tonal layer, and obviously this is an F. Pitch it up 1, F sharp, and we need to do the same here, but we need to do the reverse. We need to remove the sub since we already have one. Perfect, and then turn this down. Bearing in mind we're going to be using the same sidechain for all these kicks here. Any kick that's used as a layer to add bass, tone or elements or any sort of harmonics to the kick, we're going to be using the same sidechain just to make it all sound as one. So that is that. And now let's work on the kick quickly, the punch of the kick. So we're going to call this kick punch. What I'll do always with my punch kicks, I'll boost the high frequency just a little bit, just to increase the click and the attack of the kick, make it punch through the mix a bit more. And then depending how much it needs it, I always boost the sub just so it fits the sub of this kick here, of the sub if I mute it. The worst thing you don't want is your punch of the kick to have less sub than the actual sub kick, because then it will create some weird contrast and it won't sound like one full kick. You want to make sure the sub is as close as possible throughout the whole kick. Obviously you can hear both punches clashing, we don't want that. So for now I'll add an LFO tool quickly, choose sidechain 6, drag the top point to around number 5. And the best way to do this here is to make a duplicate of the kick, remove this bit and just have the first punch here. So you can actually hear how much you are removing of the punch. I'm doing a little dip at the end here to avoid any clicking of the kick. So that seems pretty good so far. Now let's add the punch. And then yeah, we're going to boost the low end here of the kick. You also have to decide if you want a full kick like this with the sub tail, but you have to be careful because this can clash with the sub on this. So you usually want quite a snappy kick, like a one like this or maybe one like this. You don't really want to kick any longer than that because otherwise the tail of the sub of the original punch kick will clash with the sub kick here. So it's usually best to have just a punch like that. Also make sure you turn on generic bleeding so it fades out. Now what we're going to do is copy over this LFO tool to this kick. Like that, perfect. Just add in a bit more harmonics to this sub layer. So for now that is pretty good. We'll duplicate this, Control B as usual, and we're just going to do a bit more mixing and volume. And that'll pretty much be the kick for now. We might make some adjustments quickly because we want to make sure the kick is perfect so we can move on. And that's what we're going to do. So let's quickly make some final adjustments here. So what we're doing here is we're just looking for one more tonal layer to add to that kick, just to give it a bit more texture and harmonics. Just going to drag a couple on there and then we'll go through and pick our favourite one. So that seems to be the same kick, just in F sharp, which is nice, so we could probably use that one. It's an interesting kick. So we'll start off with these two. Let's quickly listen to them again. This is the first one. This is the second one. This could be a really nice one actually, so we'll start off with this one first. Mute this one. As usual, if any of the sample overlaps, always make sure to turn the declicking mode to generic, just so it gives that nice little fade there, so it doesn't create any clicking or not nice noises. So we'll name this tonal layer kick 2. Make it pink. That's not pink. That is pink. There we go. And again, we're going to use the same sidechain Again, it would be smart to make a sub, like a group thing for here, so we can use the same sidechain for each kick. I'll do that afterwards. Just for now, we want to get the perfect kick. So again, we don't need the sub since we already have one. Always make sure your kick is in F sharp. If you're not sure, go on the sample, right click, click open in audio editor. It will open the sample up in Edison. Click the little flag icon here and click detect picked regions. And it's saying it's in F sharp, so we should be good. That's another tip for you if you want to use that. If you don't have G-Tune or don't understand G-Tune, you can do that. G-Tune is a free plugin, so I would recommend it. I'm just doing some tiny pitch correction here. Just use your ears, you'll get it perfect. What you can also do is add some EQs and some distortion just to beefing up the sound a bit more. So we want this 1 kilohertz frequency here. Adds that crunch. We probably could add this kick in too, so just because there is a lot of layers doesn't mean it's going to be a messy kick. If you get the right EQ in and the right volume and just the right mix in, you'll have a nice sounding kick regardless on how many layers you use. It's not about how much you use, it's how well you mix it, so keep that in mind. Again, we don't need the sub. So I think that is good for now. 5 layers of kick makes the whole entire kick. Again, this isn't the final kick we got. We are going to make an adjustments and final editing to this kick once we add the drop leads and the drums and that just to finalize and make it all glued together. But for now, this is the final result for episode 1. I'm thinking of muting this tonal layer or making it a bit more muffled, just literally the tiniest amount of frequency here. So if we're going to do this, we might as well just do an 20 Hz to 18 kilohertz cut, and we can just create a tiny little box out here, just for the frequency we want. So I don't know if you can hear that. If you're listening on headphones or good speakers, you might be able to hear. It just adds that tiny bit of body and a bit, just that very subtle harmonics to the kick. Actually quite nice. So yeah, so that is the final result of the kick. We have the punch layer, the sub, and 3 harmonic layers. And all 5 together sound like this for the big room kick for episode 1. So that is pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, smash my like button, helps the channel grow, makes me happy. Next episode we'll be working on the drop melody and possibly the drop synths in one video, just so we can actually condense these series into a shorter episode and not drag it out for so long. So yeah, episode 2 will be the drop melody and the drop synths. By then we will have locked in the key of the song, if it's going to be an F sharp minor or F minor. We'll decide then for the drop melody. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the video, stay safe, produce music, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.